Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. So, just a couple days ago, PMDG have released the November 2022 update for the Boeing 737, and as many of you unfortunately had to find out, there was an issue introduced with the auto throttle. It is not yet 100% clear, at least not to me personally. The developer probably has a better idea there, what exactly has caused that issue. However, it does lead to the auto throttle being overreactive on descents and adding thrust when it is not appropriate, resulting in overspeed of the airplane. Now, Robert Randazzo has posted an update on what's going on there, and I'm going to summarize that one for you. So, overall, the primary intention of that update was to lead the simulator to be able to better handle the mathematical instability of the simulated atmospheric model. Now, ever since that happened, a lot of reports came in about that mentioned issue, and as Robert says, quite a bit of engineering time this week has been focused on creating replication cases to assist with chasing that one down. With highly complex dynamic systems, it isn't uncommon to find scenarios in which the logic can get tripped up by unrealistic behavior from the sim environment, which is true in every platform which we have worked on, by the way. So a bit more engineering time was required to teach the system to identify some of the potential failure modes it might see in the environment. With these changes, the thrust channel now has greater awareness of certain types of transient, spurious data that can cause it to choose an incorrect response to changes in the velocity of the airplane. Now, the update itself has been posted approximately 2 days ago by Robert Randazzo himself, and he said at that time that, quote, "this morning," referring to back then, the developer of the auto throttle has pinged him to push an update to the beta testers with a new set of fixes in order that we can validate them and rapidly push an update to your installations as to eliminate the issue in the global fleet. And Robert Randazzo said he was working on that as we speak, so that's been 2 days ago, so you can assume that update 2 undergo testing at the moment. And if we find these fixes are stable, we will bring the update to you during the week ahead. However, I'm unable to give an approximate schedule at this juncture, but we will move it to you as quickly as we can. So that basically summarizes the update that Robert Randazzo has given in terms of the auto throttle issue. Now let me add a couple of personal comments here, because as a 737 pilot, there is a little bit of not totally bug, but a little bit of feature actually in that as well. And the 737's auto throttle, when you are especially on final approach or flying in the low speed regime close to the flap speeds, the auto throttle does often add a little bit of thrust when it is really not needed, resulting in an airspeed that was maybe 5 or 10 knots above the flap speed to increase to something like 20 knots above the flap speed. Now, that is something that the real airplane actually does, and when that happens, the pilot has to manually close the thrust levers. Now, the exact reason why the auto throttle is doing that often remains a little bit unclear to the pilot, resulting in the famous "what's it doing now?" question that normally we only hear from Airbus pilots. But yes, the 737 is doing that kind of stuff as well. Now, in real life, sometimes it does it because it requires additional bleed air for the cabin pressurization. That is a known feature of the airplane, which however often makes the pilot think like, what the hell is it doing now? However, most certainly in the simulator at the moment that is excessive. But let's just talk in terms of a real-life pilot view over here. When you see the auto throttle increasing thrust when it is not appropriate, what we do in the real airplane is just to take the thrust levers and return them to the idle position, and just hold them there until the auto throttle has learned its lesson and returns from the MCP or FMC speed mode back to the ARM mode. So that certainly happens in the real plane. However, not as often as we see it in the simulator now, and also not as strong. In real life, it's mostly going for like 50 or 60% N1, while the PMDG is currently going for quite a bit more. So that one is a bit of an issue that you should be aware, and if you want to do the same that we do in real life when that stuff happens, just hold your F1 key on the keyboard, provided you're using the default simulator assignments, and just return the thrust levers to idle and hold them over there. So I'm not 100% sure as to how the update is going to look like. That is currently being worked on because I am flying these days, so I haven't actually tested the new beta myself yet, so I can't comment on that. However, if they do get it 100% realistic, you're still going to see the auto throttle seamlessly, without any reasons, increasing thrust, and you will have to hold that back manually. So if the issue is, let's call it, fixed, you will probably not see it like entirely gone. If it turns out to be exactly like the real airplane, then it is still gonna do that, even though in a lesser extent, but certainly to an extent that can bring you in quite some trouble with the energy management on final approach. So it is often necessary for the pilot just to close that thrust lever manually when the auto throttle is doing its job, well, let's call it suboptimally. Alright, in the same update that Robert Randazzo has posted, there's also a little bit of comments going on for the tablet and the 737-900, so let me quickly bring those to you as well. So, for those following this topic, the PMDG Universal Flight Tablet goes into testing today, officially. The version we are handing to our testing team gives them the tablet itself with only Navigraph and SimBrief functionality enabled, as we want them to focus their efforts on those two pieces initially. We are doing this in order to shine a brighter searchlight into specific technology area, so that we are more likely to see and resolve specific issues in specific areas. Some users have asked Robert if they would roll out the tablet in stages similarly to the public, and that is being discussed internally but has not been decided on yet. Finally, let's talk about the 737-900. We're still hoping to move this product to the beta testing late this coming week. That is still a soft target, and Robert does anticipate a bit of slop in the 900 schedule still, as we're working on a number of features across 3 airplane types, and the piece that should have gotten off in the test circuit to clear the way for the 900 is still lingering a little bit, but Robert is going to keep you informed on that topic. So finally, we have some new features pending for the 737 line that we haven't been talking about. Those will come out in the next couple of update cycles. Lots of goodies coming your way from the development team there. And that is going to summarize the current status update on the auto throttle. So to summarize that one into some really short words, PMDG is hard at work on creating cases that can reliably recreate the issue and then finally fix them as well. And the thing should be in beta testing by now, so hopefully it's going to be out this week. But, of course, the focus is going to be on fixing it rather than rolling out another incomplete beta there. Finally, a closing word from myself, as I have been originally testing the update as well. In the beta itself, and I can only speak for myself here, I did 8 flights with the beta prior to that time that it's been released, and on not a single one of them I had encountered that auto throttle issue. Now, of course, as it goes with development, those things never show up when you do a beta testing. They only show up once it's been released publicly. And the live stream that I did, where I encountered the issue as well, was actually the first one where I ever saw the issue. So, well, that's what I call luck. Anyway, let's hope we're going to be more lucky next time. And for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. As always, if you do want to support the channel, you can do that through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Or if you want to become a permanent supporter, you can use the Patreon link down there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Now, I'm going to go back to a little bit of beta testing before I have to go to work in a couple hours' time. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again very soon.